guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's Friday at 9 o'clock, which means it's time for another video. And today I want to talk about the Champions of Magic. So if you don't know what the Champions of Magic is, it's a touring show that tours literally all over the world. And for the first time in 4 years, they've come to the UK. And I just went to see them at the Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham, and I was blown away. Like, absolutely blown away. This show was exceptional. It really was. It had Fernando, who was the escapologist. It had Alexander Marsh, who was the mentalist. Hollie England, who was did magic close up and with ordinary objects and things like that, and also had a really cool Alice in Wonderland themed bit, which was exceptional. And then you have the main event. You have Young and Strange, Sam Strange and Richard Young, and they're the lineup. And this show is just going from strength to strength to strength. It was the first time back in the UK for about 4 years, and I've seen lots of magic shows. Like, I've seen the Carnival of Wonders. Which up until this point I thought was the best show I've ever seen. I've seen The Illusionist. I've seen so many different touring shows and gala shows over the years. Genuinely, I had more fun at this show than I have at any other magic show I've seen. Just the chemistry between the cast worked brilliantly. Everything was fantastic. So this video is kind of what I wanted to do is just kind of shine a light on the Champions of Magic. They're been touring for years and years and years. They're now their UK tour is finished, but they're going to be back on tour in September in America, and they're going to be touring straight through the States from September through till about February next year. And I wanted to kind of just shine a light on how good their show is, and it really is. You know, the problem with a lot of the ensemble shows that I've seen in the past is it almost feels like very disjointed, like it's this person, then it's this person, then it's this person. And it almost feels very disjointed and not like one big ensemble thing. But that's not the case with the Champions of Magic. The chemistry between all of the cast is brilliant. There's moments throughout the show where they're all on stage together and they're doing something together. I can actually think of about 4 or 5 separate sections when they're all together. But then even when they're working individually, there's moments where different members of the cast will come in different particular routines, and they've all got their own strengths. Like, I've interviewed Alexander before on this channel. I think he's one of the best mentalists in the world, plain and simple. I think that Young and Strange are one of the best illusion acts that you will ever see, and they are hilarious. And then, you know, you add in Fernando, who is an incredible escapologist. He did Michael's Jaws of Death. And, you know, I've seen several people do the Jaws of Death before, but he did it so well. He really did. And then you've got Hollie England, who's the latest cast member to be added, but she really brought something different and unique to the whole thing as well. It's just a brilliant show. I really highly advise you to go and get it. If this was a review show, and if I was reviewing the Champions of Magic, I'd give it 100%. I have never been as entertained as I was last night. Well, I was lucky enough to be able to go backstage and do a short interview with all of the cast. So I thought, let's do this. So what I'm going to present to you now is short interviews with all of the main cast on the Champions of Magic. I asked them a couple of questions about their act. I tried to get some advice off them, and you know what? They opened up and they gave some fantastic advice. One thing that I found out from watching these guys and hanging out with them backstage is they are super nice. They are super kind, and you know, they love magic. You can just tell that every single cast member loves magic. So I'm going to show you these interviews right now, but I want to tell you before I even start, you need to go and check out the Champions of Magic. You really do. It's a show that you want to check out. It's brilliant. If it's touring anywhere near you, it is one of the best magic shows you'll ever see. Let's have a chat with the cast members from the Champions of Magic.
amazing show, yeah, really wow factor to it.
We had a lot of fun, laughed the whole time.
It's our first show actually, and I was really impressed.
It's amazing, really good.
Amazing, just absolutely incredible, yeah.
Mind-bending, astonishing, fun-filled night out.
Just really good.
I love the audience participation.
And constantly asking yourself, how do they do that?
It's pretty spectacular, wasn't it?
I had no idea how they did it in the way that they did it.
The show just gets better and better every time we see it.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
It was like really awesome.
So I'm here with Fernando Velasco.
Hello.
Man, he's just come off stage, Champions of Magic, and it was incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Like your role in this is the escapologist, right?
Basically, they just constantly try to kill me in the show.
Oh my gosh! But I mean, it was amazing. You did like a couple of big escapes.
Yeah.
It was just so good.
Thank you.
So how did you get involved in the show?
The champions found me actually around 2018. I just received an email. At the time I was doing a bird act. And I came in doing my bird act and a levitation. And then all of a sudden, they found out I did escapes and they went, I think you can be the escape artist. And boom, now I'm doing a water tank, Jaws of Death, and a bit with Young and Strange where they rudely interrupt me.
I noticed that, right? I noticed that. But there was a twist with the water tank because without giving too much away for people that are going to go and see it, you just vanished and just ended up soaking wet in the audience. I mean, that was so good.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming at all.
Well, I'm glad, actually. I'm glad. That's one of my favorite bits because I get to appear in the middle of the audience.
It was great. So how long have you been into magic?
Since I was 11. I'm 24, so about 13 years.
Oh, hang on a minute. Whoa. You're only 24 years old.
Yes, I am.
You've been touring with the Champions of Magic for like a couple of years now.
4 or 5, going
for
to
5 years. You make me sick. Oh my god!
Yes.
And when you're not touring, because this is the end of the tour now.
Yes, this is.
But then you're picking things up again in the
September.
States. In September.
Yes, we're back in September,
Amazing.
and then we're going all the way till like February, non-stop in the US. So that's a lot of.
So when you're not doing Champions, do you just sleep like the entire time, or?
A lot of the times, yes. I constantly play golf, just take it easy. But no, I also do my own shows. I just do magic too, so Magic Escapes. So like I live in LA, so you can find me at the Magic Castle, and then just other corporate stuff. And yeah, I'm always just doing shows or creating and getting ready for the tour. This is where I spend most of my time in Champions. So when I'm not here, I'm either prepping something new for this show, or I might be developing something new.
And is something going to be new for the September show? Are you going to put something new in?
Yes, actually. And this is the most exciting thing I've ever done. You know how Jesus walked on water?
Yeah.
Well, I'm walking on light.
Hang on, you're doing hang on. So you're doing what?
Yes, it's a brand new. It's never been seen before. We've started taking it a few months ago. It's been in developing for a while, and I'm actually walking on light. It is insane, actually.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
How did you go from doing a bird bath to walking on lights? Like, this is crazy.
It just happened. The producer Alex is absolutely incredible, and he came up with this idea, and then the other brothers in America designed this illusion of walking on light, and we were actually able to pull it off. I mean, it takes a lot of people, maybe 8 people to pull it off, more. But I mean, I won't give it away. But yeah, it's honestly, it's amazing. It's my favorite thing now. It's still in developing, so we're in early phases, but that will be something you will see in September.
That's amazing. And I've got to say, I love the entire show. Like, I loved the entire show. But one of my favorite parts was when you were doing just a bill penetration with a pencil to camera. I mean, that was so good. Was that like a misled type thing?
It was exactly misled.
You did that so... I was like, it's got to be misled. But then I was like, the camera's so close up on this. I know this trick. It can't be. It's got to be a new method. That was great. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was misled. So we do this bit in the show where the 5 of us, as you saw, do something with a bill. And yeah, my bit of it is with a pencil. I talk about, when I was in school, and then I do misled. And yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite close-up tricks, to be fair. It's just so beautiful.
It is. Do you still do close-up? Like, do you have time?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely. I mean, I haven't properly done card tricks since I was maybe 15, 16. Really early on, with my bird act, I just went straight to the stage. At 14, I debuted at the Magic Castle, and then I was just on stage after that. And I skipped the whole close-up phase for some reason.
But any advice for getting on stage? Anybody who's watching this that does close-up, any advice to actually being able to eventually go out and do what you do?
Find some visual tricks you like, put an act to music together, and just get on stage and just do it. It'll happen. You just get on stage, basically. Just
do it.
As long as you just put an act together that fits on the stage, or even if it doesn't, even if it's talking, just get on a stage is the best way to do it. Personally, I think there's nothing like being on stage, even though I do love doing close-up magic, because actually, yesterday we were in a restaurant, Young and I was doing a close-up trick to the waitress, and just the reactions you get on a 101 is unlike anything else, but I love the stage.
I can tell. I've got to ask you one more question.
Yes.
The presentation of Snowstorm with the aluminum, I say aluminium, you say aluminum, the foil.
Yes.
Was that your own idea?
It was.
That's beautiful. I've seen Snowstorm played out to death. and doing it with foil, it was so much more visual. Like, I was up in the stalls, and I was just seeing the whole thing. It was just amazing.
Oh, it just reflects on light. So beautiful.
So good.
Oh, yeah,
and the story about that was so good. It's normally snowing and I don't see, but that was so good. That twist on it.
Thanks. Yeah, it was the producer of Champions again and myself came up with this idea of doing it with foil. And then we put a story together, which is actually, a lot of the times we come up with stories and they're not really real. But this one has so much truth to it. I used to spend a lot of time with my grandpa. And
you had the pictures up on the screen.
Yeah, that's another thing. We put the pictures up, and it really comes from the heart. And so, and then the foil makes it beautiful. I love it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was amazing. The whole thing was just so good, so polished. I've never seen you perform before, but you've now got a big fan in me. 100%.
Thank you.
So where can people follow you? Where can people follow you?
On Instagram, Fernando V Magic. On Twitter, Fernando V Magic. And on Facebook, Fernando V Magic.
So I'm guessing it's just Fernando V Magic.
Fernando V Magic on all platforms.
Well, you know what? I have been really impressed.
Thank you.
And anybody who's watching this that's over in the States, come September, go watch this, man, because the whole show was great, but you, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
Thank you.
Really.
Come watch Walking on Light. It's going to be insane.
Walking on Light, that's ridiculous. Fernando, thank you so much. You take care of yourself, my friend. So I'm here with Hollie England, and she's just come off stage.
I have, just now.
and you were amazing.
Thank you.
It was so good. It was fantastic. Now, you're the newest member of sort of the crew here in Champions of Magic, right?
Yes, I'm the new kid on the block, as they say.
And how did that all come to be? Because you just told me, I didn't know, but you live in Vegas.
I do.
So how did you end up being part of Champions of Magic?
Well, I worked in a lot of magic shows for many years and with different illusionists. And of course, I used to be a dancer and a magic assistant. So I've always kind of somehow been involved with magic through dancing and musical theatre and stuff. And I actually came to see the show when I lived in LA many years ago. And it was playing in California, and I went along with my friend, and I'd messaged the producer of the show and been like, oh, you guys are in town, I'd love to meet you all and stuff. And so I came out to see the show in California, and I have even a picture of it on my social media when I went with my friend, and just kept in touch. And then I found they were looking for another female illusionist to kind of join the team. And I was like, oh, I've just kind of got into more doing my own stuff. and here I am.
But even though you're new to the cast, you couldn't tell because the chemistry you had on stage with everyone else was amazing. Like it's obvious that you just kind of fit in there. Would that be fair to say? Like you've just
absolutely. The whole cast are like so welcoming, so supportive, but it really is like one big family, and everyone is always playing jokes on people, and it's just really fun. Like everyone's personalities kind of come through, and we all work together as a team really well. So that kind of chemistry took a little getting used to on stage. Like it took a while to develop, but yeah, you can see tonight that we just have a blast with each other.
Oh yeah, you can tell. And I've got to talk to you about the Alice in Wonderland bit, because that was amazing. That was so good, the way that you actually kind of put all of that together. Where did that come from? Is that your own thing, or?
Yeah, actually, I got inspiration from there's a video game by American McGee, and he does like a dark Alice. And I knew that I wanted to do a needles routine because I'd seen obviously Teller, and like I'd got Steve Spills and all of that, and I used to work a lot with Dan Sperry, and he had like the razor blades and stuff, and I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool like as a female magician to do something with needles, like very delicate, and like I wanted to make it a bit artistic, and the whole thing of like, how would I swallow them as a lady? And I was just like, well, you'd have a cup of tea, obviously. And then I got into the whole like, you know, Alice, I've always loved Alice in Wonderland, and the fact that the whole story is a little bit magical in some way. And so yeah, kind of that combined with like giving it a kind of darker twist, and then getting the inspiration from the video game and like images like that, that's how it kind of came together.
It was incredible. It really was. And did I recognise that during the thing with the bill, you did Paul Harris's Nightshades, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming at all. And I was like, oh, that's so good.
That's something that we've had to put in just for the English run, because you know what? The American bills are very different to the British money now, because it's made of plastic.
Yeah.
So we've been touring with the show in the US and using, you know, like $20 bills. And I used to do a different trick. But then with the difference in the money, I was like, oh, I need something else. And like, I was looking at a few things, and I was like, oh, it'd be fun to do like a shades trick. So yeah, that's how we ended up with that one. So I've only been doing that one for however long we've been on tour here.
Well, you did it really well. It was great. It was awesome. Are you planning on putting something new into the show in September? Are you?
Oh, we're always planning on new things. Like Alex Jarrett, the producer, has always got some great ideas that he like starts, and then you know gets the mind ticking over. And so yeah, we've got a lot of things that we're working on, and hopefully we'll have the summer to kind of rehearse them and perfect them and everything. So we'll have some new stuff in the show in September. That's
amazing. And I love the fact that you did a lot of close-up stuff directly to the camera.
Yes.
Which it was really nice to see, it was kind of a big contrast to what Young and Strange were doing and what everyone else, that you were kind of just right there doing some, I mean, that was amazing. That was really, really good.
Yeah, it is, like, we each have our own kind of genre of magic. Like escapology and then the big illusions. And so, yeah, my thing was more the small things with everyday objects. It's always fun to, like, go right down into the audience and into the audience's faces and get into the camera and, like, have that experience with them. So
absolutely. And what do you do when you're not with Champions? Like, you're in Vegas, so you've got your own show running over there?
There's a revolving cast in a show out there called Late Night Magic, which is at the Alexis Park Resort, just off the Strip. And it was the only show running in Vegas at one point during the pandemic. Like, it's the only magic show going. And that was amazing too, like being in another ensemble show, but like the late night version. The Vegas version.
And are you going to be, I mean, obviously you're going back to Vegas now, are you going to be at Magic Live?
Maybe. It's possible. I never book myself at Magic Live because I never know where I'm going to be. But I always end up, if I do go, then I'll always be at the bar afterwards hanging out with everyone, even if I don't go in.
Which is probably the most important place to be anyway, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. And if people are watching this and they want to follow you, what's your social media?
I am Hollie England Official. That's Hollie with an IE. There's
Official.
some other person called Hollie England that took the handle, so it has to be Hollie England official.
Fair enough. Well, that's the most important one, and that's on Instagram and.
Yes. I'm also on Facebook, but not on Twitter. I don't tweet anymore.
Does anyone tweet anymore?
Well, apparently, Young and Strange, they're always on there.
Are they? I wouldn't know. I'm not in there either. Hollie, it was absolutely amazing to watch you do your thing. It was really good. I was blown away, and thank you so much. And anybody who's watching this, make sure that you go over in September, check out the tour. It's touring all over the States.
Yes.
And make sure you check out what Hollie's doing because it's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming as well.
No problem. Thank you. So I'm here with Alex Mclean, Stoke Marsh, Stoke. What are we referring to as?
Just Alex is fine.
Alex is fine. We're here with Alex. Obviously, I've interviewed you before on Talk Magic.
Yes, yeah.
But I've never seen you perform live. I'm going to say the same thing that I said to Fernando and Hollie. I was blown away with the whole show.
Thank you.
It was incredible. But I mean, you had such a responsibility because you were technically opening the whole thing, right?
Kind of the opener, yeah.
Which is always nerve-wracking, right?
It is, yeah. Especially when it's just like, they don't like me, then there's nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. I'm here for another 15 minutes, guys.
But they loved you. It was so
It
good.
was a great crowd.
Like, do you find it, I mean, obviously you're part of a big ensemble cast. Do you find it, I don't want to say, difficult being the mind reader because you've got like Fernando who's doing big escapes, and then you've got Young and Strange who are just mental with pyro and everything.
Yeah.
And then you've got Hollie that's eating
needles and stuff,
and dressing up as like Alice in Wonderland, but dark.
Yeah.
And then you've got you who's there with basically a couple of business cards. And there's
sort of
a
a suit
backboard.
going, hello. Like it is difficult. You're just kind of understanding the balance between like what each act kind of can offer. Like in terms of a practical sense, like I can do stuff in front of the first curtain that comes in, so they can set up some big stuff behind. That's like a practical thing that can happen. Or like I'm a bit more of a patter act to kind of joke around with the audience. It's hugely interactive what I do, so it kind of offers different elements. Although we're working on something which isn't in the show yet, which is kind of a big, almost like an illusion, but it's mentalism.
What?
Yeah, sort of. I don't want to give too much away.
No, don't give
in case it never appears and people will watch the show and be like,
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. Are you working on something? Because obviously you're back on the road again in September.
Yes.
And you're going to be touring America for months.
Yes.
So you are putting new bits and pieces into the show?
Yeah, so the bit I did with the kids when it's kind of mind reading school, that's a relatively new bit. We've only been doing that for a couple of months.
That was really good.
Thank you. Like it's a routine I've done for a long time, but then there's a bit more production behind it. I can do it with the kids. It helps with that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm working on something new. I've been working on it for a while. We have put it in some of the American shows, and bits of it just weren't working. So we sort of scratched that, come back, how we try and fix it. And we did do a couple of versions of it in the UK, and then we just need to work on it a bit more. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not used to standing there and not kind of pointing at stuff and things happen. I'm used to sort of I'm doing all the stuff in my head or here and stuff. So yeah, it's been an adventure. I can't wait to do it because it'll be really exciting.
It was incredible, and it was great to see because obviously I've studied a lot of the stuff that you've done with 1914 with Cocktail and things like that, and to see that actually in action, the stuff that you practice what you preach, don't you?
I would like to think so, yeah.
You actually, the stuff that you say do.
Like all the stuff in stagecraft is like, it's there, you kind of look and go like, oh, I see what he means about the staging, or like, talking clearly and loudly, even though I've got a microphone.
Yeah, it was actually just a masterclass watching you being on stage. The other thing I noticed is you didn't take yourself too seriously as a mind reader. I've seen so many mind reading shows where the mind reader comes out and it's like, right, I am Max Maven 2.0.
I'm serious all the time.
Well, you were just funny. You were funny, but you were also like really likable. And it was like little quips, little jokes. You had the audience at ease, and watching it, I was like, I can see why they've put you out on first because the whole audience just bought into everything after 2 minutes of having you there.
Yeah, that's good. Because also, like in terms of most magicians watching, like certainly my first set, like it's a while before there's a trick happening. But the entertainment, I try and keep the entertainment level up and throwing something out and making jokes and all that sort of stuff. Keep the energy high. It's kind of, I like opening the show. Like other stuff used to open the show, and then recently it became, I don't open the show. There's other stuff beforehand, but I kind of like that responsibility of like sort of kind of warming up the audience and getting them kind of excited.
It was almost like you were the compere of the show.
Yeah.
It had
a little
that,
bit, yeah.
because at the beginning it was like you were the guy welcoming everybody,
Yeah.
and it felt like you were the,
Yeah, I'm not sort of the official compere, but it's kind of, because I pop up a lot, and then when we do the trickle together, I kind of start that, I'm doing all the talking, kind of hosting it for a moment. But yeah, it's fun, I like it. And it just means they get to know someone really well that they like, and they know who I am. I'm not gonna mock them, but I am gonna sort of say funny things. Yeah, it's really fun.
And it was also nice to see you doing classical mentalism effects as well, and your own spin on them. I don't want to give away anything that you were doing because I want people to come and see the show, but there were moments in there that we talked about off camera that were your own versions of classic routines, and that was so nice to see, because people these days that are into magic and mentalism are always looking for the latest and greatest trick, and you're kind of going, right, okay, let's go back to basics.
The classic, and even like the methods I'm using for the thing with the whole audience involved in my first set, that's animate. That's just a bigger version.
It was great, it really was. And it was also, you did a Q&A.
Yes.
Which we're not going to obviously give away what you did or anything like that, or how you did it. It was the most entertaining version of the Q&A I've ever seen, genuinely. But two, I saw a Facebook comment or a Facebook thing on a Facebook group, Magic Facebook group, that Q&As don't work in front of a live audience. Well, I'm here to tell you, I just saw this man slay an audience dead with a Q&A right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of bold to open with a Q&A, because that used to be my second set in the show. The new thing will become the second set, but then the producer of the show was around the audience, and so just the buzz from, because it could be anyone, especially when I start getting to call out their names, and I'm plucking people seemingly around them, not just like envelopes from the box. He just really wanted to keep that moment and kind of condense it, so it just doesn't have to say it's welcome. That's the trouble with a lot of mentalism. It's a lot of procedure and fluff to get somewhere. Hence the thing, the opening bit I did with 2 people on stage and 2 little envelopes. That was me just trying to go, what is the simplest director's way to get to the point, which is mind reading, and then it expands out to everyone. It feels quite nice. I can't believe I haven't done it before. It's just 2 people on stage, and then just the whole room can now take part and have their mind read.
And it felt like every single person in the audience was like involved right on the edge of their seat. It was great.
Thank you.
Now, outside of that, obviously you've got a few months off now. Any plans over the next few months? Obviously you're going to be in the UK doing shows in the UK and so on and so forth. I understand that you're going to be at the Leeds Magic Jam.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lecture and a workshop, like a mini workshop as well.
On stagecraft?
Yes, exactly on that.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot, because I've done the stagecraft, the download of 1914. I've never done it with a group of people I think they want half an hour, 45 minutes. And it'd be quite interesting to get questions and then answer those questions, because it'll add another layer. If it's just me talking to a camera and then you watch it, it'd be nice if people are like, what about this, what about that?
Yeah.
And having worked with other magicians, I've had magicians come in and stuff to help with the show and on certain routines or the whole show, and it is a fun process when you start bouncing ideas off someone else. So that could be really fun. Yeah.
And you don't get a chance to lecture very often because you're always on tour with champions.
Yeah.
So people need to go to see the Leeds Magic Jam, because it's a rare opportunity to see you actually.
And there's a few of them good lectures.
Yeah, I think Tom Wright's there.
Yeah, Tom Wright's there.
Etienne Pradier is there as well. I mean, what a lineup!
I know. Yeah. I love Etienne stuff. This is going to be great. I think that's a great day.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic. And outside of that, are you doing anything else with 1914? I've got to ask because
because me and Dee were supposed to go for one of our little dates that we like to go on, chat about ideas, but we didn't in the time off they had. But we've got some plans. We've got some plans for some new projects and new releases. One of them, we're just bouncing this idea around. We want to do something else regarding stagecraft. Maybe even I create a routine, we document that process, then I put it in front of an audience, and then you see that awful process afterwards when you go like, well, this didn't work, that was quite good. Quite nice to document that and sort of show people how that process works. And that's the plan.
That's amazing.
There is one other thing, which you might have to cut out. I'll ask you first, though, is 1940 is going to be at Magic Live in Vegas, demming on the stands.
You're going to be at Magic Live?
Yeah, it's going to be me and Dee, just demming stuff. I'll be doing Live Will Be Done just over and over again.
Amazing.
But yeah, I've never been to Magic Live.
Well, I'm going to be at Magic Live.
Oh, you're going to be at Magic Live?
I'm doing the same thing with Penguin. Penguin Magic have got me there, demming Chop over and over and over again. So I'll be doing Chop, you'll be doing Live Will Be Done, and then we can hang out in the bar at the end. There you go.
Hollie lives in Vegas, which you'll know is the good places to go. So it's perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's another reason to go to Magic Live.
Yeah.
I can't believe Dee got you there. That's amazing.
I know. He messaged me saying, "You've got a visa, haven't you, to work around?" I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Do you want to go to Magic Live?" I went, "Actually, I do. I've never been before."
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
That's brilliant. So one other question, circling back to Champions of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about what you did on stage. We've talked about how amazing it was. And to be clear, it was absolutely amazing. Don't tell anyone in the stage, you're my favourite.
You said that to everyone, that's me.
No, I actually didn't. I really didn't. Have you got one piece of advice for anybody watching this on how to, because you literally written the book and filmed the download on Stagecraft, and then again, and done the workshop. Have you got any advice? Somebody watching this wants to get on stage, wants to start performing on stage. I just saw you blow the roof off this building. What one piece of advice?
I think the main one is, and it's the advice that you're not going to want, especially if you're a little bit shy, like all magicians and performers are, really, is just get out there and do it more, as much as you can. Just say yes to every chance to be on stage, or it could be like 10 people, 100, 1,000. It's kind of all the same, really. You just feel the pressure of all these eyeballs looking at you. And it's just flight time. I think Mark Hall calls it flight time. Like, it's like pilots. Someone who's a younger pilot but has more flight time is a more experienced pilot. You just start to learn those tricks and those techniques. Like, Hollie's relatively new to being the magician. She used to be the assistant and the choreographer and stuff. So it's been nice to just watch her just sort of, just every show just gets a little bit better. And the quip will come in here and the thing will come in here. It's like, yeah, it's nice. Whereas, just perform more. It's the only way to do it.
What about people that go, yeah, but I don't want to die on my arse?
It's going to happen. But I'd say know your material well, know your words, don't worry too much, just do what Paul Daniels did. Paul Daniels never wrote any script for anything, unless he had to say it for the trick to work. He just sort of made it up on the spot, and that's kind of what I do. That's why the Q&A is fun for me, because it's improv for a moment.
Yeah.
And there are classes, you can go to improv classes, you can do stuff, but just doing it more, and doing like an improv class or something does...
Have you done any improv?
Yeah, I did little bits and bobs, and also like I've done all sorts of little, dip my toe in lots of things, even clowning and stuff. Which
hang on, Alex, you did...
Not a clown, not the big wig and the nose.
So Alex, while he's waiting to go back on the Champions Tour in September, will be available for birthday parties.
Sure.
Balloon models and
bucket of confetti.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But yeah, just learning any courses you can do, anything, just go out there and do it. And what's the phrase? Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the thing.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's amazing advice. And where can people follow you on social media?
Oh, on Instagram, I'm Alex the Mind Reader, and everywhere else, it's just Alex Mclean.
There you go, Alex Mind Reader, Alex Mclean. Go check him out when the champions go back to the US. Go to the Leeds Magic Jam. And go to Magic Live. There's lots of opportunities over the next few months to see you live. It's amazing. Go say hi to him. Alex, congratulations. You were my favourite. No problem. You're amazing. So I'm here with Young and Strange, Sam Strange, Richard Young. Guys, I'm going to say on camera what I just said to you off camera. I have seen some of the best magic acts in the world. I was there to watch Kaylin and Ginger, and genuinely, I've enjoyed this more than any other magic act I've ever seen. I've never seen you guys live before. I was blown away, and the entire building, the roof blew off it. So good.
That's really nice.
That's kind of man.
We've been working on it for a long time. That's why we've done. Champions of Magic's just done its 404th show tonight.
Yeah.
So it's 400 shows of us, and we always do. Every night we chat about what didn't work, what can we try tomorrow, and that's
Well, I got a couple of questions. How do you keep it fresh? Because you've done so many shows, not just in Champions, but away from Champions. You've done so much.
Yeah. It's a great.
Every time I watch you, it's like the first time it's so.
It's something we battle with, and I don't think we get it right all the time. Is that when you're a scripted double act, to try and make it sound not scripted is a real challenge after 400 shows. And there's also moments in there which are sort of organic moments of me and Rich having a great time on stage. But we try to mix up the script. We switch dialogues. We try to change the inflection in what we're saying. It's a hard thing.
Also, like the thing when it's a big show like this, and there's people on fly rails and spotlights and tech people and sound cues and light cues that actually you can't do it too much because it messes everything up, you know. So that's actually a real challenge to it. Is like trying to look like we're having fun, but also know, you know, you've got to hit those cue lines because that's what, you know, particularly when we do our ending, there's like 20 people working, listening to what we're saying, waiting to hit their cues. So yeah, it's strange that we don't always get it right actually, and it is a criticism gets thrown at us from time to time, we sound scripted, and it's just hard when you do it. I mean, we're helped a little bit because there is two of us, so we can look at each other and talk to each other. One of the things we often do is, like when we feel like we're 40 shows into a run, is we go, listen tonight, listen to me, I'll listen to you. And just, I know what you're going to say, it's like, let's...
Because as you know, what happens is you can start a bit of script and the words just fall out of your mouth. You don't even know what you're saying, you know. That would happen in close-up as well, you know. Words would just start pouring out of the mouth and you're just thinking about something entirely different just because of the repetition.
You've got so much chemistry together. Like, I was sitting in the audience and everybody was laughing all the way through, and for all the right reasons. The bit where you had the life buoy on, the life jacket, was that scripted? Because I genuinely thought that was a mistake.
That's a good example of what we're talking about. That's a scripted gag.
I genuinely thought that you were stuck in there, and that was like, no, honestly, I was like, this isn't a joke.
I mean, we've done that probably like a couple of hundred times. Yeah. So, and it does, because we both sort of play characters in the show a bit. So that panto trick of breaking character or things happening in the moment, only tonight, is needs to look organic and needs to look fresh. It's so hard to do, you know. It's so hard to do.
There was in the UK back in the 90s, there was a sitcom called Bottom that starred Rick Mail and Aid Edmondson, and they're definitely, like, personally for me, a big inspiration. Although they were a TV series, they did some live tours, and without a doubt, the best bits of their show were scripted mistakes. And they're a clinic to watch and see how they would do a long tour.
An interesting deeper question is whether the audience would like to know that's a scripted thing, because I think the audience invest emotionally by going, oh god, this is happening for the first time. Poor guys, he can't get the life jacket with him. Oh no! But then to find out that actually that wasn't unique to them, and it was not their own experience, could be a bit. I don't know how that makes them feel.
Yeah. I think they would feel a little bit cheated, but
then you can say, oh, it's a magic act, it's all part of the illusion, it's all part of the set. You know, you know, like get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
What else I liked about the act is when you see illusion acts, a lot of the time, there's only certain ways that you can present an illusion, you know, and you guys have gone full on 80s cheese, and you've just owned it, but you haven't kind of tried to come up with ways of like going like, oh, okay, let's do this, let's do it. You're just like, you put the costumes on, you just own it. It was so funny the way you guys were doing that. Like, how did that come about? Like, to just go, let's just own this. Let's do the costumes, let's do the music, let's do everything.
Well, honestly, like, look at us. Like, you know, we 10 years ago we spent a day with Andy Nyman. And, you know, he very much kind of helped us find the direction we should go in. And I remember him just going, look at you, you're a comedy actor. There's a big tall guy and there's a short stocky guy. It's like Morecambe and Wise. And then actually when you look at illusionists over the decades, to me it's extraordinary, it's both of us, that people are still doing it. But all these kind of cool, trying to be cool and these movies.
Still wearing the
and I don't think illusionists ask themselves, why am I doing this? Because it doesn't make any sense to a modern audience. The thing where you're trying to look cool and you've got leather trousers on or whatever. And so to us, it's so easy just to poke fun at it. And actually, you know, it turns out it's what the public is thinking. That illusionists are bonkers, really. You know. So yeah, the parody kind of, you know, and of course our finale is looking back at 80s Vegas sort of magic. When that was when it was at its height. You know, with Siegfried and Roy doing all these movements and stuff. So it's just easy to poke fun at it, and we couldn't be cool up there because we've looked in the mirror and realised we're not cool. So you have to just be who you are. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of illusionists, if you look, Russ Stevens talks very passionately about this. You know, they don't look in the mirror and honestly look and go, I don't look like David Copperfield did in the 90s when he looked like a movie star doing magic. You know, or I don't look like Darcy Oak and I've got triceps bigger than my biceps. There's a few guys who can really pull it off, but most of them can't.
Yeah. But there is also a bedrock of truth to the whole thing. We genuinely love the old school Las Vegas illusions. Genuinely. It's like watch videos together and and reflect on just this innocent nostalgia, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that is sort of born out of that, really.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's quite simple, isn't it? Just as if the audience sort of think that, oh yeah, that we enjoy it and we're loving it, they'll sort of go with you, won't they?
Yeah, and I love the glitter ball. I mean, I love that, like, because that just tied into your whole characters. You know, that you had the thing at the beginning with the music, and then the thing, and then it was just so good. I mean, it was. Where did that idea come from? Like,
tell the story of like when we did it in Salt Lake City the first night, so when we got to that point.
Yeah, we come up with this idea of doing this vanish and then reappear. I know Lance Burton had appeared on the chandelier. Do you remember that?
Mm.
And lots of other magicians appeared in the audience. That we thought what would be really funny is if I'm riding a mirror ball, wrecking ball style above the stage. It just fits into the stupidity of the whole thing. And I actually end up playing a keytar, which is a very 1980s instrument. And so we'd invested all this money, just trial and error, and trying to get it right. Because the minute, listen, that's not wholly original to appear on somewhere high up. But we think, the glitter ball, and that's sort of stepping in the right direction of originality. But the problem with doing that, especially with illusions, is it's hugely expensive. There's trial and error. And if I would talk to you about the mechanics of the actual how it works, it's so complicated. And then when you have something part of that goes wrong, it's so expensive to sort out. And we can't do it everywhere because of the logistics of the rigging and stuff.
It was about 5 times more money than we'd ever spent on anything else. And I mean, that's actually a credit to the show because we have worked with this show, like a lot of illusionists, rather than going and buying a nice car or, go and buy a big house. We went, let's buy an illusion. And so...
No, genuinely, it's not a poetic story. I'm currently living in a 1-bed annex. Well, I have 2 children, and we share a room. It's not a heartstrings, but you share a room. We just 1 bed, so my wife and I sleep there, the 2 kids. And partly the reason for that is because we've invested so much money in stage illusion. I mean, there is truth to that. I mean, the material cost of all those illusions on stage you've seen is astronomical. And then the maintenance and all of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So
we're not rich. That's the point. Yeah. It's like we wipe out our bank account every time we get a bit of money. We wipe it out again. Let's do something.
But I think part of the reason for that is you guys love magic.
Yeah.
Like both of you love magic, and I know from speaking to you how much you love magic, Richard. Like, are you ever going to be happy? Are you ever going to go, you know what, we don't need another illusion now. We're good. We've got like millions of pounds worth of illusions. We're fine. Or are you just going to carry on?
Well, the thing is, so 3 weeks ago we went to Berlin to see the Elliott Brothers show. And I mean, their show's like, this show on steroids. Like, it's just like unbelievably complicated. And there's like the people on the road here, but the Elliott Brothers are like 5 times more people and everything. It's just inspiring. You watch it and go, wow, imagine if we had their money, what we could do, sort of thing.
But you have to progress, don't you? Otherwise, if you just stagnate, not only do you get bored yourself, but I don't know, it could cause a bit of bickering between us because you get frustrated. As long as you're progressing in some form, I think that's...
So that mirror ball illusion, we had a budget for it, and it went over budget, and then we put some more money, and then we also agreed, because lots of it was original, was before it ever arrived. Some of it was built in America, some of it was built in the UK. It was all brought together in Salt Lake City. We had a theatre for a few days, and Alex and the team here just absolutely incredible. Everybody worked on it for 3 days. And we also had a budget in case it didn't work. So we were going to, I think it was like we said, we spent up to about another 10 grand on it if it didn't work. And so actually these 3 days just went really well, and we put it in the show on the 3rd day. And the audience loved it. I remember we came off stage and cried like babies.
Got to the lift after the show.
Yeah,
and that's so much investment emotionally and financially and physically and the effort, and it worked. It was unbelievable.
That's why
unbelievable emotion.
That's why, unfortunately, when you see most illusion acts, it is the same old boxes coming on and off, because when you go from doing an illusion act, it costs a lot of money anyway. When you go to originality, you can times the cost by 5, and that's why so many acts can't justify doing it. You know.
But it's not just about the cost as well. The thing about using the glitter ball as an example, it totally fits into your characters. Like you're hyper aware of your characters. Like I can't imagine another illusion act in the world that would be able to pull off appearing on a glitter ball, playing 80s music on a guitar. Yeah, you know, I think that's very young and strange, right? I don't think anyone else could do that.
And do you know what though? That clear understanding of kind of like who we are that is thanks to this show and to Alex, the producer, for giving us his stage 400 times to just, and Alex is a huge part of our creative process, and he was very much the third person in the conversations, and then obviously, he's very much a we can do this person. So, he allowed us to install it into his show and take the risk on it that it might not work. And so, anything you see like that, it's not just us by any means. Alex is absolutely a huge part of it, and the team here and the crew and everything. Everybody, it's a team effort. It's so different to Close Up Magic, where it's down to you and you practicing. He did that as well. This has nothing in common with being Close Up Magicians, unfortunately. It just doesn't. It's a different world entirely.
You know what's interesting? I've interviewed every single person in the cast individually, and you've not been in each other's interviews, but everyone has brought up Alex, the producer, and about how amazing he is.
Yeah.
Which says everything really at the end of the day, that you've all individually felt the need in a short interview to shout out.
He's genuinely the most amazing person we know. Like, he's just endlessly inspiring. He's a we can do this. He always pulls it out the bag.
Also, he's built the show up completely from the ground up. From the grassroots level. He did it initially. I'm not sure if you know the story of Champions, but initially he got a few magicians he quite respected, and he put on this sort of old school variety performance with a compere, and they'd all come on and do things, and nobody would come and see it, and he'd sort of keep on plugging away, keep on, and then it slowly the audiences, and actually this UK tour we've done, actually the audience has been pretty
biggest
pretty
houses
good.
we've ever had in the UK by
so
a mile.
hopefully he's finally getting some sort of return on it. He's been invested for years.
But he's the same as us. He just loves it. Like, you see it. Like, just loves doing it. He loves the creative process. And the time you see him so alive is when something new is on the stage tonight. Whether it's a joke or a new routine, that is when Alex is the most alive. And people don't actually know he's a big part of the show on stage. He's the tiger in our act. He's doing the camera. Like, he's running around backstage. And that's a choice. He does not have to do that.
He's got sitting in an office, doing
he's got plenty of
people
who could run his show track, but he likes to be involved and likes to see it through the audience's eyes every night. He's a great person to work with. And that's why we've been here nearly 10 years now, because it makes us feel valued, and and the show's just going places. Like, it just is.
You can just tell. I mean, the momentum that the show has built up.
Yeah, it's finally starting to get to. We had a couple of real good tech weeks, and that's probably the first time in the history of the show where we'd actually be able to block out dates in the diary and rehearse and have new bits put in. So it's finally beginning to get into a real rhythm.
And talking about that, are you going to be adding something new for the September tour? Because obviously you're back on tour in the States in September. Fernando's told me that he's doing something crazy with lights.
Oh, we've seen it.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Did he tell you about it?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
He mentioned that he said that it's the most amazing thing that he's ever seen. And
it's really innovative. You sit there and you go, "Wow, what am I watching? This is amazing." You feel like, "Oh my god, this is the future."
Yeah, it really is.
It's quite rare for a illusion.
Never seen anything else like that, actually. Yeah, it's brilliant. But yes, we've got ideas and stuff we want to do. Yeah. So. As
I think we will also, because we've now got a good load of work in the diary. You can justify, spending some money and things like that.
Yeah. And a couple more questions quickly. Any advice for people that are watching this about putting together a double act? Because there's very few double acts in the UK. In the world, there's not that many at all. And I can't think of as many, especially in the UK, that are, in the UK, you've got you guys in Morgan West, and really that's it. I mean, obviously Penn and Teller, but do you have any advice when it comes to working with each other so that you don't kill each other? Like, look, because you guys have been working together for years, and you've gone from strength to strength to strength, while other double acts have fizzled away into nothing.
I think it's first of all, don't underestimate what commitment it is. It is absolutely like a marriage. Like, we have good days and bad days, and all this, but then there's also finances involved in it. And one thing that we were both close-up magicians, but I think Stranger would agree, it would be really helpful if you've got someone who has a different skill set to you. So, if you've got someone, Stranger's really practical, and that's at times really helpful. Like, the fact that he can fix things, and, he's very good at kind of that side of things. And so, if people have got, and I'm crap at all that, can't do any of it.
But Young's magic knowledge is much better than mine, so it's kind of like...
I can't even put stuff in a flight case without asking for help. But, so that's the thing. I think you can't go into it, and we never did, going, we want to be the next Penn and Teller. We just did it because we wanted to have a laugh at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. That's what we did.
We were helped as well, I think, by being young when we got together, because your personalities are malleable, and because we've spent so much time together now, our experiences have been shared, so we become sort of, much like you do in a marriage, you end up with the same sort of attitudes and opinions, and you grow together, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can.
Also, there was a funny thing last night. We were in Manchester last night. And there was a little problem in the act, and it was a little thing, but it last happened about 3 years ago. And I remember when it happened, I thought, oh, I hope Strange remembers what we did last time because it worked really well. And sure enough, like he read my mind. He remembered it too, and he's like, this thing happens, and he immediately deals with it. He has to respond to this error that happens, and it's just like, boom, there it was. And that's the thing. We could look at each other on stage. We don't have to talk. We literally know what each other's thinking. He knows when I'm absolutely furious.
But you guys were responsible for probably my three favourite moments in the whole show. The whole thing was amazing. But my three favourite moments.
Don't you, Craig?
Yeah, I love illusions. Yeah, I really do.
Some magicians don't, do they? Some magicians can sneer at them, and normally the magicians that do that are the ones that haven't done them.
You know what hard work they are, right? Like we do.
It's a nightmare. It's an absolute pain in the arse. And I said to you beforehand, I was getting frustrated just loading up a long wheelbase, let alone an articulated line. How you guys deal with it, I've got no idea.
2 articulated lorries.
Yeah, 2. It's just nuts. But my 3 favourite moments. The one was the production of the boat. That was so funny.
Yeah.
I just honestly, I just laughed my ass off. That was just brilliant. It was magical, but it just. I was thinking, where is this going to go? How is this going to go? And then you were here, and it was just so funny. The second moment was the red light, green light. Oh my God, that was brilliant. It was like a running gag all the way through. And the third thing was your card manipulation.
Oh really? That's
man. That was. I just didn't see that coming.
It's like your passion, isn't it?
It is actually. It is. And I spent a lot of time in the lockdown learning some more complicated moves. So that is something in September I'll implement. So that'll build, because at the moment it's a bit short. It's a bit, it's quite poetic and it's nice, but it doesn't really have a finish, does it?
It looked like it did to me, but I really liked that. I thought it was really good. In fact, I love the whole beginning of the second act with you guys all.
It's a nice idea, isn't it? Just have the simplicity. People on flight, magicians on flight cases, just tell us the first experience of magic you've had.
It's great.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good bit. But you know what? Like that's been through a process again. Like finding those right tricks for each one of the 5 of us, and them having to kind of complement each other, and then the stories having to complement. And it's actually a long bit. It's only 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's just the 5 of us just sat there and we all just tell a little story about how we.
And each thing is just so different, but also so good. Really, really good. The chemistry between everyone, not just you guys, but the whole crew, the whole cast. The chemistry was great.
Yeah. That's good, because that's not an illusion either. That we do get on well. We've been on a tour bus for the last 2 weeks together, all 14 of us on a single bus, and it's just you have to get on well. And there are no egos really on this tour. I don't think so. Only you.
Well, at least that's what it comes across as in the show. It's amazing. One last question: the cardboard box. No one does that better than you guys. Nobody does that better than you. I love that you throw the things through and then you just run off. You don't get a lot more. Yeah, I played with it for a while and I almost took my assistant's head off and then decided to not play with it anymore. Like, it's genuine for the people that don't know. That's a dangerous thing that you're.
It does. It strength tests the relationship we have, doesn't it? At times. Like,
do you know what? Like, it's something I've never said about it actually, but I thought it sort of a few days ago when we did it. It's actually, it feels like magic in there. Because it is like, I don't know, it's the Magic Channel. If you're still listening after 20 minutes, you're obviously a magician. But it's like, they just missed me. Like, and it's just so beautifully choreographed that they slide past me in there. And the timing, and it's the biggest thing between us actually, where we just work together. You know? Like,
do you ever worry about it? Like,
I mean, it's credit to Young really, because he's the one that is at the, excuse the phrase, sharp end of it. Because if I make a mistake, and I have done in the past, is that he's the one that gets the brunt of it. And when you've played with it, you realise that when you're in the dark and then the noise of the stick coming through, it's a really intimidating thing.
So
there's huge trust on your part.
They leave my microphone on, so the noises you're hearing are real. So they're not sound effects. So
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do
You
that.
just build a trust there. It's good of you to put so much trust in me.
But that illusion has become iconic to you guys now. Is it almost got to a point where you can't not put it in the show? Because
I think even if you're a layman, you don't understand about magic. You can see that the work and it's a worked piece of magic that's gone on for years because, so it sort of qualifies you. It sets you up at the start. If we wheel on a box and do it, I think the audience wouldn't appreciate the skill that's in. I think on some level the audience.
I think psychologically as well, because it's not a base, as so many illusions are.
Yeah.
The fact that it's our first thing we bring on and it's not a base, hopefully psychologically means they don't look at any of the other props and go, oh, the table's a bit big, isn't it? Like, so you forget actually when we do talk to non-magicians, like they have no idea. Even actually people like in the crew, like when we go into a venue, maybe we did a run in Toronto a few years ago. We were there for 3 weeks, and there was a guy there, I remember, and he figured out everything in the show because he saw it all from the wing 40 times and saw the props come a bit. I remember at the very last day we were loading out, he said, the one I never got to the bottom of was how you're in that box. He said, I know you're in it because there's no way you can go. I know there's no trapdoor on the stage. He's like, I just cannot get my head around how
It's
that
also
works.
it's the speed as well. That's a really important detail. You know, that really throws them off the scent of it. Doesn't it?
But then it's the impact of the illusion, and then you know, with that funny line that brings it all back to the characterization as well. You know, the speed of it. Almost get a splinter.
I remembered.
Yeah, it's like really well done. I mean, the whole thing is brilliant. The whole thing is brilliant.
That's great.
And you must piss off so many venues with the amount of.
Did you see it today? You know that big pyro effect at the end as we take our final bow? It's all hooked onto the chandelier in the roof. Now, there is no way to get to that chandelier, and you can see that. I saw the venue stuff underneath the video actually just scratching their heads and looking at it.
It's all on the rider. So if they don't read the rider, then it's a problem. It's all there. They know what's happening if they read the rider.
Yeah, I was walking around afterwards, and you could just see the stuff. But man, no, the spectacle, absolutely everything. You guys deserve every ounce of success that you have, and just congratulations.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for incredible. I've enjoyed it.
Best magic show. It's absolutely amazing. Brilliant. So you're back on tour in September?
Yep, we're all over the USA and Canada in September.
So what are you guys doing over the next few months? Taking a bit of a break, taking a bit of downtime?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, it's funny, you do that when that confetti goes off at the end, we all had a bit of, that's, when you're standing there on the stage, you've got the affirmation of the audience, the lights and the pyro, and you're standing there going, that looks like success from the audience's point of view, but we all went for a bow and went, we're out of work, we're out of work. We've got no work for months now. We've got no work for months.
But that's what proper show business is.
Yeah.
If you're an actor, or you're a musician who writes an album or something, it's different to being, close-up magicians where you're in the service industry effectively, and you work at events and things, but this is what show business is. So actually the next few months we will work up what we've been doing, so when we come back in September it's better than it was.
Are you gonna find some time to make a few changing cards?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe a few changing cards. Yeah,
maybe a few changing cards.
Maybe look,
I know there's some magicians that are desperate to get them.
Changingcards.com.
There you go.
That one. I have a lot of time to make those now. They've been out of stock because I've been in a cardboard box for months.
Guys, thank you so much, and
Great,
I want everyone to carry on. We're Young and Strange, right? So it's the Twitter and Instagram handles.
At Young and Strange on Twitter, Instagram, and we've got obviously the website youngandstrange.co.uk.
And if you want to follow you individually, is it?
I've just I'm not really social media kind of guy. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
I'm on there, but Young and Strange is the only interesting place.
Young and Strange, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
You're awesome. So there you go, guys. A little bit of a different video this week, but I think it's something that we could do more of on the channel. What I want to do is find out if you like the idea of this video. Do you like the format? Do you want me to do it again? Because I'm more than happy to. We can look at different shows and I can review them and I can get interviews with the cast and crew, hopefully. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. One more time, I want to say thank you to all of the cast and all of the crew from Champions of Magic. They put on a fantastic show. Thank you for letting me go backstage and interview you guys. Congratulations on another successful run. And I can't wait to see what you're adding into the show later on in 2022. Guys, make sure you follow the Champions of Magic. Make sure that you check them out and leave a comment down below. I know that they'll all read this, the comments in this video, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. And don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the NETRIX is now live. It is at www.thenetrix.com. You can sign up for a month and try it out and see what you think and cancel any time, although we'd rather you didn't, obviously. Anyway, thanks once again for joining me, and I will see you again tomorrow. We've got 4 videos over the weekend, so there's a lot coming up on Magic TV. I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.